Hi Cubies, here's Alexandra, and today we have a look at my next painting tutorial, and this time we will paint up a Rohan Warrior from Lord of the Rings. So, like you see, I have clipped him out of the sprue, cleared all the mold lines, attached the shield, and placed him on the base. And the next thing I will do, I will simply prime him with black spray primer here. So, and I'll be back when this is done. The primer is applied, and what I will do now is slightly dry brush the whole chainmail with chainmail. I use for that the small dry brush from GW, but you could also use some other dry brushes you have lying around. Doesn't matter. So, just slightly go over the armor. Okay. Now for the helmet. And after that we will start to apply the first base coat colors. And for that we use some of the foundation paints. So for the cloak I think we should go with a lighter green. So for that we are using Gretchen green, and for this weapon, what is it called in English? Don't know. Well, this cloak here underneath, I will use a darker tone orchid shade. So in order to apply that, simply take some of the color on your palette. A little bit watered down, just a little bit, to give it a better flow, and then simply apply the paint in one good coat. It don't need to be 100% covering right now, just a good coat. So I will paint up both kinds of colors, and I'll be back in a second. Okay, the green is applied, like you can see. And now it's time for the brown parts, and for that I use Calthon brown, and this will be the boots, the spear, the little belt, and of course the back side of the shield. And as you may see, I have also painted some of the parts of the shield in the orchid shade green. So also very simple, just paint in the Calthon brown. So be right back when this is done. Brown parts are done, and as you can see, I've also painted the skin in the face and then on the hands in the Calthon brown. And now I'm going for a 50-50 mix of Calthon brown and Deneb stone for the hairs, because I want him to have blonde hairs and need a nice bright undercoat for this. So like I said before, this is just undercoating the whole miniature, so we're just blocking out the main colors, and you don't need to be 100% exactly here, because like I said, this is just an undercoat, and well, we will go over it with a wash after that, and then we will start to highlight all the areas, and then we will start to be exactly with all the stuff. So, okay, that's good for the hairs now. And now this miniature needs a little bit contrast, and for that, because this miniature is mainly in green, so I think a red would be good, and for that we use the good old MAC red and paint the parts here. On the shield. Okay, everything but the middle part. Okay. Well, red is a very, very difficult color over black, you can see here. Even with the Macrite red, it's quite terrible. But with some coats, you will eventually get to the point. But for the first undercoat, I think this is enough. Okay. So, I will let this filler here dry now, and then I will go over the whole miniature with Devlin Matte. Be right back. Like I said before, I will now hit the whole miniature with Devlin Matte, and that will create all the cracks and crevices and shadows, and give the miniature instantly a three-dimensional look to it. So, just simply apply it in a good amount. Don't be shy when it comes to using washes. So, I'll finish this and let him dry. Be right back. Okay, Tubies, little change of plan. I have hit him instead of Devlin Matte now with Griffon Sepia. Well, while he was wet, I washed him, and now I will, while it is still wet, go also with Barab Black over it. So that will give a better tone than the Devlin Matte I previously used. Well, that are these little kind of things where you have to experiment with your colors. Just think what might look best and try it out, and well, when it don't work, use something different. And I think, yeah, that's a much better solution for this. Okay. This I will let dry now, and then I'll be back. Okay, after 3 days of drying, well, I know it's a long time, but I had a reason. The reason was called Skyrim. Well, but we will go on now. So, the wash is dry now, and now we start to highlight all the stuff. So, and we start with the green parts, and for that we use straight Dark Angel Green, and we simply paint over the whole surface and leave the recesses with a dark color behind, and also a little bit of the orchid shade. So we get a nice color transition. See, it's quite not that much to paint. Also we do that here on the shield, just with tiny little strokes. So, and by the way, every time when I upload a Lord of the Rings video, I have a community that is kind of split up. First, there are the persons that say, "Oh yeah, Lord of the Rings tutorials, yeah, yippee yay." And the second one are those, "What the fuck, Lord of the Rings? Nobody plays it anymore. Make more blah tutorials." So, what do you think? I have a nice idea to determine how many people are actually interested in Lord of the Rings tutorials. And for that, just use the favorite button. So if you would like to see more Lord of the Rings tutorials from me, then favorite this video, and well, then I can see how many of you would like to see more Lord of the Rings tutorials, and that way I can determine if I should make more or not. So let me say, if I get at least 100 favorites for this video, that means, well, there are enough Lord of the Rings guys out there that would it be worth it. So now let's go on with highlighting. For that I use Goblin Green, and I mix it into the Dark Angels Green here, just a tiny bit. So like that. Water it down a little bit to get a smoother transition. Brush adjustment at the paper towel, and then we are good to go. So just go over it. So I won't do here a super fancy mega premium quality tutorial. Well, I guess Lord of the Rings is played by mostly very young kids, and for that we don't need super high quality painting videos. Because, well, most of them are beginners and they want to train their painting skills, and for that this is very good with an easy tutorial. So I won't use here any fancy techniques, just with the tip of the brush, and always leave a little bit of the old color behind. So, quite easy. So, okay, I think for this, the dark green parts, this is enough. Now let's go on to the camo green parts, and for that we use straight camo green again. So, and we go over the cape here, and we leave the recesses in the dark, like that, where we had previously the wash. And this gives it a little bit more dirty look, because, well, they're not super clean people in the fight out there. They are running in the forest and the battlefield, and I guess those cloaks are not super bright and super clean, and for that instance that's totally okay. So I'll finish the cloak now and be right back. The cloak is painted now, and the next step in highlighting will be adding a little bit of Deneb stone to the mix, like that. A little bit water. So and adjustment of the brush. So, and we can go on with the paint job. As always, leave a little bit of the old color behind, and we are good to go. This is our final highlight for the robe, or the cloak better, not a robe. It's not a robe, it's a cloak. Captain, somebody jammed the radar. Yes, strawberry jammed, my favorite. So, just like that, use the middle line of each of the folds and you're good to go. Like I said, I want to have this cloak to be a little bit more dirty. And for that we will use now a little bit pigments. So Oops, sorry. Here, this pigment's here. This is burnt umber from Vallejo Pigments. I recover this with a little bit of water. This is good if you have such a palette. You don't wasting your pigments every time. So, and now we're going for the lower parts of the robe. I think I need a little bit more. Let's see. Damn it, I guess I had a little bit of acrylic paint in there last time, so okay, this time we need new fresh pigments, but that doesn't matter. So on the palette, again a little bit water or alcohol, doesn't matter in the end. So let's use a thing. Aha, much better, much better. So I think the lower part will hit the dirt quite frequently, and so we will dirt up the under part of this cloak. So there we go. Now clean off the brush, and then with a wet brush you will fade this outer line like that, you see? Let's do this again here. You just fade it a little bit. And so this becomes a more natural transition than just a hard line. So, okay. Now I will use a different pigment. Here, this here, dark yellow ochre. Again, a little bit on my palette. So with a little bit of the burnt umber in it, so we get a different dirt tone, like that. There you see. So with that, we hit it again, here and there, and also a little bit on the boots, here and there. So, and then I take straight pigments, again with a slightly wet brush, not too wet. We will make this cloak dusty and dirty. So, and now I will let that dry and be right back. So does the dirt look after it is dry. Quite dirty, isn't it? And now we will go for the shield again and hit it with scab red. So, very gently, barely touching, just with the tip of the brush. And remember, don't fear the paint, don't fear the brush. Just do it. Everybody can paint. There's no, oh, I'm not a painter, I can't do this. Everybody can do this. Just need a little bit of patience and the will to do it, and everybody can achieve a quite good result in no time. So now we'll highlight the scab red with a 50-50 mix of scab red and blood red. So again, a little bit, barely touching, very gently. Focus, so it's good. So, and you see what I'm doing here with my little finger. I'm stabilizing my painting hand, so I'm not so shaky. Also, my other hand is resting on the table itself, so don't try to paint in the flying position. That way you have a very, very shaky hand. So, okay, that's done. Now let's paint some gold parts. And for that, I need, what do I need? Yeah, 10 bits is good. Well, every time you try to paint something in gold, it's a good way to undercoat it with either a brown tone or tin bits, because gold don't have such a good coverage over other colors, but tin bits and brown tones are very good for that. So now I'm painting here the details on the helmet. So I believe here this front piece was also gold. Okay, like that. There we go. And now we will take our gold. It doesn't matter if it is shining gold or burnished gold. I have here burnished gold, so just take it, what you have. So, painting the shield buckler. And then I will paint the other details here in gold. Okay. And I think this guy is nearly complete. So now let's go for the hairs. And for that I need another brush like this one here, and then I use a 50-50 mix out of bleached bone and golden yellow. Let's see, there we have it. Okay. So now we'll very gently go over the hair. Like that. So. then I use straight bleached bone without cleaning the brush for some highlights, just at the lower parts. So, okay. And this needs to dry now, and I'll be right back. So, the hair is dry now, and we need that to be dry because we will hit this now with a wash. Griffon Sepia to be exact. So, just go over it like that. And voila, we have a nice blonde Rohan Warrior. Quite easy. So, last things to do, the skin. Okay, for the skin tone I use now also a foundation color, this Talon Flesh. A little bit watered down, just a little bit, so that will go over the skin parts very gently and leave the recesses in the brown tone. So, like that. See? Don't have too much paint on the brush, then you can slightly go over the surface simply like dry brushing. And you can cover the surface without hitting the recesses. Quite easy. Just like that. So, and on such a small miniature you don't need to have so many highlights and fancy skin tone paintings. This is quite easy. We will make now one highlight with adding a little bit of bleached bone to the color, just a little bit. So we'll go here over a little part of the hand, here a little bit on the fingers, and maybe here on the chin. Done. That's enough for the skin tone. This is such a small miniature you won't even notice it. So, and I think, yeah, we can give the spear one highlight, and for that I use maybe snakebite leather. Yeah, that's okay. So, just simply go over the spear with a color of your choice. It don't need to be snakebite leather. You could also use a mix of pastel brown and bleached bone if you don't have snakebite leather, or mix your Calthorn brown with a little bit of skin tone, or highlight it with a little bit of white, or even yellow. Doesn't matter in the end. Just make a brighter brown tone and you're good to go. So, yeah, spear's done. So now we'll hit also the side of the shield here with the snakebite leather. And after that, I call this miniature done. Only thing to do after that is making the base. And that's quite easy. I have shown this in many other tutorials. I will do this off camera then. So, and I will show you the end result in a second. QEs, there we have the completed Rohan Warrior. And don't forget to rate, subscribe, and leave comments. And by the way, again, if you want me to make more Lord of the Rings tutorials, then you should definitely add this video to your favorites. So, that's it for now, and we see us in the next video. You're Alexandra.